Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're starting into our fifth cycle of 1992 with an album, and in this episode, we're talking about Core by Stone Temple Pilots. Really love this record. It's a great kind of just alternative grunge record. It gets kind of grouped in with the whole kind of early 90s like grunge scene, a different city or different like kind of like part of the country, not necessarily like the Seattle sound of like Nirvana or Pearl Jam or Soundgarden. I think they're actually based or founded in San Diego, but they kind of get put into the conversation with those bands because I think it kind of was around the same time period that a lot of those kind of albums were coming out from, like Nirvana put out Nevermind the year before. I think Soundgarden put out Bad Motor Figure also the year before, and Pearl Jam put out their 10 the year before. And so, kind of like all these bands kind of started releasing albums around the same time. I really like Stone Temple Pilots. I don't know if I like this album more than Purple, though. It's either my top two are either Purple and this or this and Purple. They're both really, really good. But I got some notes here about the album. We're gonna get to those, and then we'll get to like the track list and all that kind of stuff. So let me actually just get my notebook open here. Here we go. Let's see. Core by Stone Temple Pilots, first released September 29th, 1992. Like I said earlier, this is the debut album from Stone Temple Pilots. It did pretty well on the charts. It peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200, and I think it reached that position on the charts sometime in 1993. Also went 8 times platinum, so did pretty well with sales. There were 4 singles released from this album. Those singles were Sex Type Thing, Plush, Wicked Garden, and Creep. All really good songs, specifically Plush and I think Creep probably being two of their biggest hits. Plush is just amazing, and then Creep is really good as well. Wicked Garden, and Sex Type Thing are also good. I just think Plush and Creep are kind of definitely top tier STP tracks. Scott Weiland unfortunately passed away some years back, but was stated that when they were making music for this album, they were really inspired by bands like Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, and the Beatles. So those are kind of some of their influences. Lyrically, there's a really cool Scott Weiland quote I want to read out here. So the kind of lyrics are a little bit darker, but he was quoted as saying, quote, "I guess I tend to find the darker shades of life more attractive than the yellows and oranges. I know it's something that I relate to when I listen to music. There's no way you can plan anything that happens. It would be hard for me to make an assessment of what it is people are attracted to. We're in a really shaky sort of social climate with all these different variables coming into play. So much racial discontent, so much anger from groups that have been discriminating against for so many years. There's a handful of people who are making music with a sort of public conscience, and I think it's just something that people relate to because of discontent." So just a really kind of cool kind of quote there related to kind of just like the content of the music. Let's go back to our notes here. That was a quote. So basically, this band essentially was formed kind of sometime back in 1985. That's when Scott Weiland and Robert DeLeo were kind of just hanging out, starting making music. Nothing like official, nothing as a band yet, but kind of just writing music when they could. I think Scott Weiland took on a job at like a modeling agency, and I think DeLeo was like working at like a guitar shop or something. But in their spare time, they would get together and just write music. I think they had like an apartment together at some point as well. I think the first band they created was called Swing, which that then morphed into another band called Mighty Joe Young, which essentially after that kind of morphed into Stone Temple Pilots. One thing I didn't know about this, would do my research for it, is The cover is actually supposed to be Eve in the Garden of Eden, and that's supposed to be the apple from the Tree of Knowledge that she's holding, which I when the album name is core to me, it looks like she's holding like a magic like orb, maybe kind of thing. But yeah, according to my research, it's supposed to be Eve taking the apple from the Garden of Eden. So I didn't know that going in, but I kind of definitely like that twist because you have the tree there, you have her just kind of sneaking away with the apple, which is just really cool on as far as just the album art aesthetic goes. Um, Critics apparently initially did not really like this album. It did very well commercially, but I think initially, according to my research, critics didn't love it, at least at first. And I think they even were saying they were basically kind of stealing the sound of Pearl Jam. And I can definitely see kind of like some similarities, especially in the way both Eddie Vedder and Scott Weiland kind of like their like cadence and how they deliver their lyrics is somewhat similar. So I can see why some critics would think that they were essentially copying Pearl Jam. I don't think they were. I definitely feel that there's like enough difference between the bands that you can't really say like what like STP is copying Pearl Jam, but I can kind of see a case for it just from how, um, like I said, Eddie Vedder and Scott Weiland kind of like deliver their lyrics. There's a little bit of a similarity there, I think. Let's go into our reviews here. Just some quick review scores for this album. Let me pull this down. So, and like I said, initially the scores for this album were somewhat low. I think retrospectively, I don't know if there's any kind of retrospective reviews on this. There isn't, but so initially, like All Music has it at a 3 out of 5. Let's see, Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal has it at a 7 out of 10. 3 out of 5 from the Encyclopedia of Popular Music. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B. Kerrang has it at a 4 out of 5. Q has it at a 4 out of 5 as well. Rolling Stone Album Guide only has it at a 3 out of 5. Think Select gave it 4 out of 5. Spin Alternative Record Guide has it at a 4 out of 10, and Village Voice has it at a B minus or a B minus. So initially, not great reviews. Like I said, people kind of thought they were like stealing basically like the style of Pearl Jam, and that kind of maybe led to some of those initial like not so great reviews. But I do feel that I think probably as this album has aged, I think people have liked it more. I've definitely liked it more over the years than I did back when I first heard a lot of the tracks off of it in like the mid 90s. But with that, we're going to now move into our track listing here. So there's 12 tracks on the album. It comes in about 53 minutes and 37 seconds. Track 1 is Dead and Bloated. Track 2 is Sex Type Thing. Track 3 is Wicked Garden. Track 4 is No Memory, which is just an instrumental. Track 5 is Sin. Track 6 is Naked Sunday. Track 7 is Creep. Track 8 is Piece of Pie. That's track 8. Track 9 is Plush. Track 10 is Wet My Bed. Track 11 is Cracker Man. And then track 12 is Where the River Goes. So again, 12 tracks, comes in about 53 minutes and 37 seconds. Basically, STP, the personnel on this are Scott Weiland on lead vocals, Robert DeLeo on the bass and backing vocals, Dean DeLeo on guitar, and you have Eric Kretz, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, on drums for this album. And I definitely feel this is definitely an important album in kind of like early 90s, like alternative, like grunge music. It definitely I definitely like put it into the grunge category because I think it does have some similarities to a lot of the other kind of big grunge albums of the time. Like I said earlier, there's like a little bit of Pearl Jam, if you kind of say that. Kind of just definitely has like, don't want to say Seattle sound because they're from San Diego, but you can definitely see like similarities between them and like other Seattle bands like Alice in Chains or Nirvana and things like that. So definitely really enjoy this album. Like I said earlier in the video, I think I might like Purple just a little bit more. Purple has like Interstate Love Song, which is probably my favorite STP song on it, and I might get to that album in a future cycle in 1994. But yeah, that was a really good album as well. But that is going to do it for this video. We'll be back again in a few days doing a movie from 1992. No idea what that movie is going to be just yet, but we'll get that up, and then we will be doing another either computer or video game from 1992 before we jump back into 1993. So again, that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.